What's going on, guys? Bank Robber Games here with more ADACA Zone Patrol. And last episode, when we left off, it was a really awesome episode. We carried on making our way through exploring quite a few new areas and discovering some quite creepy stuff, really, including carrying on with some quest lines. So I definitely recommend going back and watching last episode if you haven't seen it. That way it makes sense in terms of context of this guide. But this episode we're just going to be carrying on through this wolf bunker area that we have discovered within the pines over here. And yeah, this is a really cool one. Very creepy, and yeah, leaves you quite a few questions really. As we come in, we do have to be careful because there are these laser trip mines. You can throw objects at them in order to break them. Did forget about that guy there. And at the end of the last episode I did finish my play session, so that is why we're going back to a pistol rather than the laser magnum we had before. And word of warning, you definitely want to bring a relatively powerful weapon as you enter this bunker, because there's quite a lot of tough enemies. You can see this guy's got a tactical weapon with him. There's also a very strong entity we're going to want to take down. Here there is a little shortcut door where we just picked up the tactical pistol from the first enemy we took out. I did go back to the stag bunker to pick up a pulse rifle because it is a very fun weapon to use. It looks really cool as well. And that is just the other side of the force field. You see there is a speaker on the bottom of it here, so if we take out this power cell, deactivates the force field as a shortcut, but it does trigger an alarm so everyone knows where we are. Before we do that though, we are going to want to come over to door in the back here. There is an artifact along with this computer here that we'll make use of later on. But it got turned around there, completely lost. More enemies spawning. If you do have any more powerful weapons, you are going to want to save them still. So now we can switch to our flak rifle. See a lot of warnings in front of this door. That is because there is this thing behind it. Absolutely awesome as a design. That didn't happen last time. I've never let this thing get close to me, but I don't want to find out what happens if you let it get close. But yeah, you just want to aim for the red orb in the middle of the sort of like cloud of particles, I guess. Not the most intense fight, but still very, very cool. Looks like we finished them off with that nice C4 throw. That was quite satisfying. Satisfying finish to the fight. But you can tell by the fact there's other enemies in the distance. We're not finished here. Look for door number 5. That's the only one that it seems that we can open. So we've given the VACT crew members some intel, and that has or will unlock a mission for us to do. I'm not sure if it unlocks straight away. But that is everything we can do in the wolf bunker at the moment. And just come back the way we came, making use of those shortcuts. Back into the pines. So from the door where we come out, if we just head in an easterly direction, there is a very cool artifact on a plinth here. And then if we head east again, to this telegraph pole, or whatever you guys call them. There's another really cool secret message hidden by the doctor we can only see with our goggles. Again, some very cryptic messages. And there is a shotgun that always spawns here with some shells. If you quite like to use that weapon, just as a bit of a backup. And then here is Crow. So last episode we did pick up a flower in the middle of the Pines area, relatively near where the ship is. And I'm pretty sure it stays in your inventory even after quitting out. So this would be a good test to see if that is the case. So you'll notice now Crow has got a flower on their chest, and the game did save. So we should be able to pick them as a companion. We're not going to do that for now, just because we are keeping Cazador with us to complete the Cardinal Sin quest, to have them with us. I don't think you need to have them with you, because they do mention they'll contact you over the radio, but I just like to have them with me, and then later on we'll switch to using Crow, because they are a very, very cool companion and actually quite central to the story of what's going on within the zone, which is really, really cool. And it's also good to confirm that the rose does stay on your inventory in between play sessions, because like I said at the beginning of this episode, last episode was the end of my sort of recording session. So now as we follow this path underneath this archway, there should be a cave on our left we can go into, and that is just northwest of the transmission tower we were just at with the secret message. Not really much to do in the cave system. As we enter this little bit of the room, there is an artifact hidden under the stairs. Quite easy one to get that. But down here as well, there is something we have seen glimpses of previously, if you watch previous episodes of the guide, being the Ogre 18 bunker. And this is another bunker that I recommend having a powerful weapon before you enter it. That wasn't very good. Can just run on these pipes to avoid all these gas vents. I don't know if there's any way of sort of deactivating these anomalies, but down here you might be able to see it just there. There is a abomination of an enemy. Very, very tough. You don't want to let them get close. And they've got like a spitting attack, you can see there. I've not actually been hit by, but I imagine it does quite a lot of damage. So we're just going to do our best to take them out with our flak rifle. And if they get close, you can make use of some grenades. So they're not actually too bad to take out. Can't really see them all that well with the way they've sort of folded in on themselves. So if we just focus on the left hand side here from the direction we came in. So yeah, mark for a data cache reader here. Can't interact with the computers. Thankfully the data cache is quite easy to find in this area. Well, in this next little group of rooms there is an artifact along with a code here. That just leads back into this room. Nothing too exciting. On the right hand side There isn't really anything of interest down here. Except from the locker room. And we obviously know the code for that. Because it was just on the computer. Nice and easy. On the wall, you see there's a couple of artifacts. There is also a guaranteed flamethrower here. I don't know if the intention is to take out the... Well, I always call it an ogre because it's in the ogre bunker. With the flamethrower, it is actually quite powerful. But it has obviously only got short range. I am just going to show off the fact as well that it doesn't burn through ammo too quickly. It doesn't look like we can top up ammo from the ammo store here. There's also a red chest, but we've just got another pulse rifle. And then there is obviously that data cache. Along with a codex entry I don't actually remember picking up last time. I know, we did. I did get that one last time. So that is Note Key 4, Hammer in the Living Room. Which is actually a very good play on words if you know the answer to that clue. We're just going to take the data cache back to the reader. And if you look at this entry here, they might look quite familiar to us. Mentioning a Project Golem here, which is something we've heard before or seen before. Mentioning of the name Crow. A little bit of discussion of the process of how Crow was potentially created. And there is a picture of the flower showing you exactly where it is by the ship and the permanent teleporter gate that you can pick up and give to Crow, that we gave to Crow, that now allows you to get them as a follower. I think it's really cool the way it's hidden, because Crow does pop up from time to time as you're exploring the zone anyway, and obviously they look far from human, but it's cool the way they're actually integrated into the sort of background story of some of the stuff that happened in the zone before we got here. Now if we come out the other way, will bring us to an entrance that we can take into the blue caverns. Just there. But we're not going to do that for the time being, because we have got something that I want to cover as part of my walkthrough through the pines, but there's no guarantee how long it will actually take for us to do it. And it is the thing I mentioned about checking the sky for anything unusual other than the flying tree that we've seen in the pines. And that is, if we go back to the what's it called, the B1 camp with this monolith sticking out the ground that we can see goes underground. I think the fog effects it messing up our goggles. If we head, where is it? So from the monolith, if you basically head northwest, you'll come across a bunker. And for ages I had no idea how to open this. I thought it was just a little bit of point of interest, but we couldn't actually do anything here. But thanks to an all artifact guide on the Steam community page, I realised that wasn't the case. And it actually mentions how to get down into here as well, I think, if I remember correctly. And I'm not going to spoil it for the time being. It's like I said, I don't know how long we're going to have to wait for us to be able to access this bunker. Although the thing we're looking for tends to show up more at night, it seems. But it normally comes from an easterly direction. I'm pretty sure it's on a set path. But just because there's no guarantee how long it will take until the sort of key for this lock spawns in, I am just going to cut to whenever this hatch opens. But don't worry, I will show everything you need to know in order to open this hatch for yourself. So welcome back, guys. Thankfully it did only take a couple of minutes until what we needed spawned in order to open this hatch, and I'll show that off now and show you what's in the bunker, because it is pretty cool. And just like what happened last time, it basically follows the path of the train tracks and spawns in from the eastern side of the map. You might be able to see it. And it is a floating meat train. Very, very creepy. And like I said before, from my experience it seems to spawn in more at night, but I'm not sure if that is actually the case. And it looks really, really cool. It's got like a very ominous red glow coming off of it as you see it appear over the trees. But all we need to do is, unfortunately it does move quite slowly, but all we need to do is wait by the bunker for it to come over, and then when it hovers over the hatch will open. Like I said, because it does move quite slowly, it will take a little while, and from everything I understand and everything I've seen, you don't need to do anything to ensure it gets over here. It can't be shot down or anything, from what I know. And after it hovers over the bunker, the hatch opens and then it just flies off. I think you only have a limited amount of time before the bunker shuts as it hovers above it. But just because it is so slow, I am just going to cut to whenever it hovers over this hatch door and it opens, and then I'll show off what's inside the bunker for you guys. So welcome back, guys. We are pretty close to the train coming over the hatch here, and you'll see it just hovers over the hatch for a moment and the hatch will open for us. As far as I'm aware, there's quite high chances for this spawning. I don't think it spawned every time I've been in the pines, but I'm guessing you could just reload the area or exit the area and then come back in and then give it a while and see if the train spawns, and if it doesn't, just do the same again until this guy spawns in for you. There's the hatch open, and then you'll immediately enter a transition, and we are just the underside of the monolith. You will notice there are quite a few conflux enemies though. It's not the most dangerous area in the world, but you need to be quite careful. Helps if you hit the targets as well. That was a really bad grenade throw. It is quite a small area, but still very, very cool. It's quite cool how the entrance to it is like a secret as well. As we come on to these catwalks here, we keep following it straight and look down to the rocks. There is a very unique artifact in the shape of like a effigy, I guess. Very, very cool. And then make our way down onto all these natural rocks here. There is a red weapons chest sitting somewhere around here, I think, but I'm not entirely sure where it is. But I'm not too fussed about it because we know there's one in the ogre bunker, if we are really worried about getting a red chest. But down in this corner, we want to climb these rocks, and then there is another very unique artifact here, along with a data cache. And thankfully the data cache reader is quite easy to find because it is such a small area. So we just head back over to the catwalks. And then as we start heading towards the exit, just turn right. And then come down these stairs. There is another artifact just here by these computers that we can't do anything with. Get the data cache back up. And here is the reader. More mentioning of ECUs, which I'm pretty sure is what was discussed in the entry to do with Crow. Not sure if the red weapon chest is down there because I haven't noticed that ladder before. Let's have a quick look. But yeah, very, very cool. It did also give us a journal entry saying the terminal confirms that a sample of the stone tree anomaly was taken to the lab in Tunnel 18. And I said I'm not too fussed about figuring out where this red chest is, but I do want to make this guide as complete as possible for you guys. Just down here. And no idea. I think that's a rocket rifle. Just a rocket rifle. Something we have seen before. And we know how to get a better version of it anyway with the tank gun that's in the dish area. As far as I'm aware, that is everything we can do within this stone tree secret area. Very, very cool how the area is implemented though. And as far as I'm aware, after you explore it, the hatch does stay open for you. But I'm not entirely sure. But if that isn't the case, we know how to open it now with using the meat train, I guess, or the slime train thing that's just happens to be flying in the sky. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But looking at how long this episode has been, I think here's a pretty good place to wrap it up. I feel like we got a pretty decent amount done because we have pretty much finished the Pines for now. We have got a little bit more to do here later on though. And don't worry, before I did mention about using the teleporter gate and interacting with a spectral dog to take us to another quite hidden location. I am going to do that later on. But other than that, let me know down in the comments below if there is anything that you have more questions about, or if there's anything you think I've missed so I can include it as part of this guide. I hope you guys have been enjoying the guide though, and it's been easy for you to follow along. If you have enjoyed this episode and this series overall and been finding the guide useful, make sure to like and subscribe for more, and then that way you won't miss out on the rest of this guide. But thanks again for watching. I always appreciate having you guys here, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.